This is your life. Rotting and reeking. What do you mean it's not treatable? Dean's voice broke as he held the lab report, fingers pale against the clinical sheet. The medical assistant shifted, uneasy. Sir, you need to stay calm. We'll have to notify your recent partners right away. In the Stark Hospital waiting area, 3 men sat, each clutching the same manila envelope. There was Dean, the gym instructor whose once perfect arms trembled now. Mick, the showy real estate guy whose expensive watch suddenly felt like an insult. And Tyler, the crypto trader whose usual cocky grin had evaporated. Down the corridor, Michael Harlan stood frozen in his janitor's uniform, a faint smile at the corners of his mouth. His mop bucket sat idle as he watched the 3 men who had torn apart his marriage flail like trapped beasts. But this tale doesn't start with vengeance. It starts with trust. 6 months earlier, Michael wiped sweat from his brow after loading the trash truck. At 35, he'd been a municipal sanitation worker for 8 years. Contrary to assumptions, he didn't hate it. The labor was honest, the pay reliable, and it left him time to think. What he couldn't accept was coming home to quiet. Celeste lounged on the sofa when he walked in, her phone illuminating her face. She didn't look up as he kicked off his boots. "How was your day?" he asked, sitting beside her. "Fine," she replied, fingers never stopping their scrolling. Ashley landed another brand deal. Some skincare promotion. Ashley North was Celeste's main rival in influencer circles. Everything was a contest with her. "That's nice, hon." "No, it's not nice, Michael. It should have been me," she said at last, finally meeting his eyes, her green irises cold. "But I suppose my husband emptying trash cans doesn't exactly scream luxury lifestyle brand." Michael felt the familiar jab but kept his tone even. "Isn't authenticity what you keep telling your followers you value?" She laughed, but it was hollow. "Authenticity doesn't pay for this condo, Michael, or my car, or any of it." What she didn't know was that Michael had been mining cryptocurrency since 2016, back when Bitcoin traded under $1,000. What began as a hobby had ballooned into something far bigger. His digital wallets now contained over $4 million. He'd never told her. He suspected she wouldn't understand. "I'm going to shower," he murmured. "Dean's throwing a party Saturday night. Some fitness influencer thing. You don't have to come." Michael paused in the bathroom doorway. "Why wouldn't I come? It's not really your scene," she waved him off. Dean Martinez was their trainer, a poster child for protein shakes and chest-thumping masculinity. Michael had never liked him, but Celeste insisted on the networking. "I'd like to go," Michael said. "Fine, whatever." The party was exactly as Michael expected. Dean's apartment stuffed with fitness influencers, crypto bros, and realtors all jockeying to outshine each other. Michael nursed a beer in a corner while Celeste worked the room like a seasoned campaigner. Tyler sidled up with his usual swagger. They'd known each other since high school, and Tyler had been Michael's first crypto contact. "How's the digital portfolio?" Tyler asked. "Can't complain," Michael answered. Tyler assumed Michael had maybe 50,000 in crypto, not millions. "Nice, man. Hey, did you see Dean's new setup? Guy's got a whole streaming room now." Michael followed Tyler's glance to Dean demoing workout gear to a small crowd, Celeste hanging on his every sentence. "Impressive," Michael said flatly. "Dude, you okay? You seem off tonight." Before Michael could reply, Malik arrived. "What's up, boys?" "Tyler, I've got that investment property I mentioned. Cash only, returns are insane." Malik had been spouting opportunities for months. Michael had learned to tune him out. "I'm good, thanks," Michael said. "Your loss." Malik sniffed. "Some people are just too risk-averse to build real wealth." Michael almost laughed at the irony. Risk-averse? If they only knew. As the party hummed around him, Michael watched the interactions instead of joining in. Celeste's hand lingering on Dean's arm, Tyler and Malik trading private looks while planning their weekends. Conversations that faded the moment he drew near. At midnight, he found Celeste in the kitchen refilling her wine. "Ready to head out?" he asked. "Actually, I'm staying to help clean up. Dean's been so generous hosting. I can pitch in." "No, that's okay. You have to work in the morning." Michael scanned the spotless kitchen. "What needs cleaning?" Celeste's cheeks colored. "Michael, please don't make this weird." "Make what weird? This jealousy thing? It's humiliating." Michael stared at his wife of 7 years. "I'm not jealous, Celeste. I'm confused." "About what?" she snapped. "About why my wife wants to stay at another man's apartment. God knows how long to tidy a kitchen that's already clean." The room had quieted. He could feel people watching. "Fine," she hissed. "I'll come home, but you're being ridiculous." The drive back was mute. Michael's thoughts raced, but his hands were steady on the wheel. Celeste stared out the window, arms folded. "I'm sorry," he said at last. "You're right. I was being ridiculous." She turned to him, surprised. "Really? Really? I trust you. I worry sometimes that I'm not good enough for you." Her face softened. "Michael, you're fine. You're just different from my friends." "Different how?" "You're quiet. They're more dynamic." "Dynamic?" Michael pocketed the word. "I'll try to be more dynamic," he said. Celeste smiled and squeezed his hand. "I love you. You know that. I love you too." But as they pulled into their driveway, Michael was already plotting his next move. Trust, but verify. An axiom drilled into him by his military instructor. The next morning he ordered a small voice-activated recorder online. Nothing elaborate, just something that could be hidden easily. He told himself he was being irrational, letting insecurity steer him. Yet paranoia, he knew from the army, was often just preparedness. The device arrived 2 days later. He tested it in his truck at lunch and was satisfied with the clarity. That evening, while Celeste showered, he tucked it behind the bedroom dresser. 3 days passed with ordinary talk and Michael felt foolish. Maybe he was overreacting. On the 4th day, Celeste told him she was going to Dean's gym for a content planning session. "I'll probably be late," she said, kissing his cheek. "Don't wait up." He watched her go and settled into wait. At 11 p.m. he heard her car in the drive and pretended to sleep as she slipped into bed beside him. The next morning, after she left for a business breakfast, he retrieved the recorder. What it captured changed everything. "God, I needed this," Celeste's voice breathed, satisfied. "Me too. I've been thinking about you all week." Dean's voice was unmistakable. "We've got to be careful. Michael's already suspicious." "About what?" "He got weird at your party. Asked why I wanted to stay late." Dean laughed. "What did you tell him?" "That he was being ridiculous, which he was." Poor Michael. Always there, always silent like furniture. They both chuckled. Michael's grip tightened around the recorder. "Speaking of furniture," Dean continued, "Tyler and Malik are coming over tomorrow night. That thing we talked about, the wellness party." "Yeah, you sure you're up for it?" "Are you kidding? I've been dying to try something like that." Michael would never. Michael would never what? You know, he's so vanilla, so predictable. Michael listened with his jaw clenched. The wellness party clearly wasn't about meditation or stretching. But the next recording broke him further. 2 nights later, after another supposed content meeting, Celeste came home talking on the phone. "No, he has no idea. He's too trusting too." Tyler's voice came through. "He won't. And even if he did, what would he do? File for divorce? I get half of everything anyway. Still, maybe we should be more careful." The man empties garbage cans for a living. He's not exactly criminal mastermind material. True. Hey, you still coming to Malik's Thursday? Wouldn't miss it. These boys' nights have saved my marriage. Michael sat in his truck in the driveway, listening to his wife plot her next betrayal. Beneath the hurt, a cold calculation took root. They thought he was weak, an invisible piece of furniture. They were about to find out how wrong they were. He didn't confront her, he planned. First, he needed full clarity on what he faced. Over the following week, he planted more recorders around the house and followed Celeste's digital trail, mapping behaviors and patterns. What he uncovered was organized treachery. Dean, Tyler, and Malik weren't casual. They'd coordinated to humiliate him. Texts showed months of mockery, nicknaming him the Ghost for how unseen he'd become in his own life. But Michael held hidden strengths. Military training had taught him surveillance and tactics. His crypto fortune gave him resources they couldn't imagine. And his mundane job made him invisible to outsiders, the perfect cover for intelligence gathering. He spent 2 weeks charting their schedules, weaknesses, and pressure points. Dean's gym was in trouble financially. Tyler's crypto positions were mostly hype and borrowed funds. Malik's property deals were getting sketchy, possibly illegal. All three were living beyond their means, desperately propping up a facade of success while deepening their involvement with his wife. Michael's plan crystallized. Step 1. Create distance. He found a studio across town and signed a lease under an LLC he'd set up years earlier for his crypto holdings, slowly moving valuables there without alerting Celeste. Step 2. Enlist help. Tamar Lee had been a medical technician until a DUI cost her the job. She'd been a barista at Michael's usual cafe for 6 months and was clearly struggling. More importantly, she owed him. Michael had anonymously paid her court fines when she couldn't. "I need some medical consultations," he told her quietly at the cafe. "Nothing illegal. Just health screenings." "What kind of screenings?" she asked. "The kind that might stop some people from making very poor choices," he said. Tamara searched his face. "This is about your wife, isn't it?" He didn't deny it. "Are you interested? What would you need me to do?" "Set up a legitimate men's wellness screening. Real tests, real results, but I need them interpreted strategically. I can't falsify records. I'm not asking you to. Emphasize certain risk factors. Create urgency around follow-up care. Everything medically accurate." Tamara was silent for a long beat. "How much are we talking?" 50,000. Her eyes widened. "You're serious? Dead serious? What exactly are you planning?" Michael's smile was ice cold. "I'm going to give them exactly what they deserve." The wellness screening idea had been Celeste's, which made it ideal. "I want to do something different with my content," she'd announced at breakfast. "Something that shows I care about more than fitness and beauty." "Like what?" Michael asked. "Men's health. It's underrepresented and Dean thinks it could blow up my brand." Of course Dean thought that. "It's brilliant," Michael said. "I could help fund it." "You would?" "Absolutely. How much do you need?" "Maybe 10,000 to start." "How about 25? Celeste's face lit up. "Really, Michael? That's amazing. Thank you. I believe in you. I always have." A flicker of guilt crossed her features for a moment. Then it vanished. The Men's Wellness Initiative launched 2 weeks later. Celeste pushed it hard on social, casting herself as a thoughtful advocate for men's health. Response was strong, especially from male followers. Dean, Tyler, and Malik were among the first to sign up, eager to back Celeste's new endeavor and happy for free screenings. "This is genius," Tyler told Michael at the gym. "Your wife is onto something. You're lucky, man." "Celeste's the total package," Michael replied, nodding inwardly. The screenings took place at Dean's gym, which made perfect sense. Tamara showed up in professional scrubs with a legitimate mobile lab service Michael had contracted. The tests were exhaustive. Blood panels, STD screens, cardiac markers, everything a health-conscious man might request. All 3 men submitted, joking about results with the arrogance of those who've never faced real consequences. "When will we get results?" Dean asked. "Within a week," Tamara answered professionally. "We'll call to set up consultations." "Nothing to worry about, right?" Malik laughed. "I feel great. That's what we're here to determine," Tamara said evenly. Michael pretended to clean equipment from across the gym while actually documenting every detail. Phase 1 was done. The official lab results were clean as expected. But that's not what they were told. "Mr. Martinez," Tamara said solemnly when Dean arrived for his consult, "we need to discuss your results." "Is everything okay?" "I'm afraid we found some concerning markers. Your STD panel shows exposure to a particularly resistant strain of HPV. It's not immediately life-threatening, but it requires prompt treatment and contact tracing." Dean's face drained. "What does that mean?" "You need to notify every romantic partner you've had in the last 6 months. They all must be tested immediately." "But I feel fine. This strain can be asymptomatic for months. That's what makes it dangerous." Similar exchanges followed with Tyler and Malik over the next 2 days. Tyler was told he had elevated markers suggesting early-stage chlamydia. Malik was informed of a troubling bacterial infection requiring immediate treatment. All 3 were given real medications, antibiotics that wouldn't harm them but reinforce the illusion of proper treatment. Crucially, each was instructed to contact their partners right away. Michael waited for the fallout. It started with frantic texts. Emergency. Need to talk now. Dean's message to Celeste was caught by monitoring software Michael had installed on their shared laptop. What's wrong? Celeste replied. Can't text this. Come over. It's about the health screening. Within hours, all three men were in meltdown. They piled into Dean's apartment like generals at a crisis meeting, whispering their diagnoses in terrified tones. How is this possible? Tyler paced. We were careful. Careful. Malik scoffed. We were sharing the same woman for months. Keep your voice down, Dean hissed. The walls are thin. What do we tell our girlfriends, our wives? I don't know. I really don't. Michael later listened to the recording, savoring their panic. But this was only the opening move. The next stage required subtler manipulation. Michael began anonymously tipping local health bloggers about a potential an STD scare sweeping through fitness influencers. He offered just enough specifics to make the claims believable while avoiding any names. The story spread fast. Within a few days, multiple health and fitness blogs were writing about the necessity of regular testing and the hidden risks tied to influencer lifestyles. Dean's gym memberships started to drop. People began raising awkward questions about his wellness programs. Tyler's crypto advice column filled with comments asking whether he was as careless with investments as he had been with his health. Mixed property clients requested meetings to discuss health disclosures and possible lifestyle liabilities. All three watched the facades they built start to crack, clueless about the cause. But Michael hadn't stopped. Phase 3 targeted them personally. He contacted Ashley North, Celeste's rival, from an anonymous email account. I have information about Celeste Harlan that might interest you, he wrote. A recent men's health campaign has a very interesting backstory. Ashley replied within hours. What kind of information? Michael forwarded carefully trimmed recordings of Celeste ridiculing her followers, admitting her manufactured authenticity, and bragging about manipulating her audience. He sent nothing revealing the affair that would later come to light. Where did you get this? Ashley asked. Let's just say I'm someone committed to accountability, he answered. What do you want in exchange? Nothing. Just the truth. Ashley struck quickly and mercilessly. She produced a video essay on influencer authenticity that included anonymous excerpts from Celeste's own recordings. The piece blew up within 48 hours. Celeste's follower numbers plunged. Sponsorships evaporated. Her meticulously assembled empire began to disintegrate. Michael watched from his hidden apartment, eyes on the surveillance feeds from their home. Celeste descended into panic, making increasingly frantic calls to her industry contacts. I don't know where this is coming from, she sobbed to her agent. Someone's targeting me. Who would do that? I don't know. Maybe Ashley. Maybe a competitor. Never once did she suspect her silent, predictable husband. The final phase delivered the most gratification. Michael organized a follow-up wellness event at Dean's gym, ostensibly to go over screening results and address public concern. He promoted it through Celeste's social channels, framing it as an effort at transparency. All three men showed up, hoping to repair their reputations. The gym filled with influencers, clients, and onlookers. What none of them realized was that Michael had hidden cameras all around the facility. Welcome everyone, Dean began, voice tight. I know there have been concerns about recent health screenings, and I want to address them directly. Are the rumors true? Someone shouted. About the STD outbreak? There was no outbreak, Dean insisted. Just some elevated markers that warranted precautionary treatment. What kind of elevated markers? The voice of a local health reporter demanded. A reporter Michael had tipped off. That's confidential medical information, Dean tried. But you're asking people to trust you with their health. Don't they deserve transparency? The questions turned sharper. Tyler attempted to deflect by blaming media sensationalism, but sweat betrayed him. Malik shifted to arguing for the importance of men's health advocacy, yet his voice trembled. Then Michael revealed his trump card. Hidden speakers around the gym began broadcasting audio of the three men discussing their shared arrangements with Celeste. Their mocking remarks about Michael, casual talk of betrayal and deceit. Poor Michael. Always there, always silent like furniture. What if he finds out? He won't. He's too trusting too. The man empties garbage cans for a living. He's not exactly criminal mastermind material. The space froze, those incriminating words replaying from the speakers. Every phone in the room recorded. Dean's face went white. "This is illegal surveillance," someone cried. "Is it?" Michael stepped out from behind a piece of equipment, no longer concealed. "Everything you're hearing was recorded in my home with my own devices," he said. Celeste stood stunned near the doorway. "What are you doing here?" she whispered. "I'm here for the Transparency Initiative." "Honey, isn't that what you wanted?" The recordings kept playing, unraveling the pattern of organized betrayal, the derisive comments, the ease of their cruelty. Social media detonated as the audio spread across platforms. "You did this, Tyler," Dean snarled. "You really did this." "I did what?" Michael's tone was composed, almost conversational. "I provided health screenings. I supported my wife's career. I trusted my friends. You sabotaged us. I gave you exactly what you asked for. Transparency." Dean charged, but Michael's military training took over. He sidestepped, letting Dean's momentum slam him into a rack of weights with a brutal clang. "Stay down," Michael murmured. "You're embarrassing yourself." Malik moved for the exit, but the crowd blocked him. People shouted questions, filmed everything. Their reputations imploded in front of a live audience. The aftermath was swift and merciless. Dean's gym shuttered within a week. His influencer career evaporated. His credibility lay in ruins. The viral clip of him lunging and falling into weights became a meme. Tyler's crypto column was canceled, his clients fled, and several of his past recommendations were exposed as shoddy, inviting potential legal scrutiny. Malik's real estate license was suspended while authorities investigated. The audio attention directed scrutiny toward his sketchy deals and inflated credentials. Their social feeds flooded with ridicule and condemnation. Careers ruined, futures uncertain. Michael hadn't finished with Celeste. The divorce filings revealed the depth of his preparation. "I don't understand," Celeste told her lawyer. "He's a garbage man. How can he afford Eva Darnell?" Eva Darnell was the city's most expensive divorce attorney, the one Michael had retained after demonstrating his financial wherewithal. "Mrs. Harland," Eva said coolly, "your husband has been quite financially responsible, likely more than you realize." The disclosure that Michael possessed over $4 million in crypto assets hit Celeste like a physical blow. Those funds had been accumulated before the marriage and were held in separate accounts. "He's been hiding money from me," Celeste accused. "He's been protecting assets that were never marital property," Eva corrected. "Assets predating the marriage acquired through his individual investments." The revelation was crushing. Not only would Celeste receive no claim to Michael's crypto wealth, but she had also accrued substantial debt from her failing influencer career. Her income had dried up, brand deals were canceled, sponsors threatened legal action for undelivered promises. "I want alimony," she demanded. "On what basis?" Eva asked. "You were the primary earner during much of the marriage through your influencer income. Your husband's sanitation job provides steady but modest pay. Under ordinary circumstances, he might have a claim against your higher earnings." "But I have no current income," Celeste pleaded. "That's not your husband's responsibility." The settlement was mercilessly simple. Celeste walked away with debts and a ruined reputation. Michael retained his assets, his steady employment, and his dignity. 6 months later, Michael stood in his new apartment, gazing at the city skyline. The place was modern, comfortable, wholly his. No shared spaces, no hidden recorders, no need for surveillance. His phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Michael, please, we need to talk." "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." He deleted it without a response. Celeste had been trying to reach him for weeks, but he had nothing left to say. Another message arrived, this one from Ashley North. "Dinner tonight. I'm cooking." Michael smiled. His relationship with Ashley had grown slowly and deliberately. She knew his history, his methods, his motives, and she accepted the man he was. "I'll bring wine," he replied. As he prepared to leave, he caught his reflection in the bathroom mirror. The man staring back was not the one who used to come home to silence and betrayal. This man was assured, self-possessed, and dangerous when necessary. He was no longer weak, no longer predictable, no longer furniture. He was precisely who he had always been. They simply never bothered to notice. The evening news murmured in the background as Michael dressed. The anchor covered a local business scandal involving fraudulent property deals. Malik's face appeared on screen, haggard and defeated in handcuffs. Michael switched off the TV and walked to the door. The past was closed, settled. He had a new life, a new relationship, and a future that belonged solely to him. As he got into his car, he reflected on revenge. People imagine it as violent, loud, dramatic, but the most effective retribution is truth, giving people exactly what they earned by their choices. Dean, Tyler, and Malik had undone themselves. Michael had only built the stage. Celeste's betrayal had destroyed her. He had only held up the mirror. The real victory was not in their ruin, but in his freedom. For the first time in years, Michael Harland was exactly where he belonged.